Let me tell you something most men never hear until they've already been broken, used, or replaced. A woman will never value you more than you value yourself. And if you don't understand that simple truth, every relationship you enter will destroy you long before it ends. Because right now, whether you admit it or not, you've been conditioned to chase, to prove, to impress, to please, to perform. All for the hope of being good enough for a woman who hasn't earned a single piece of your effort. But here's the reality nobody tells you. She's not the prize, you are, not because you're superior, but because a man with discipline, purpose, emotional control, and self-respect is rare, and rarity creates value. Value creates attraction. Attraction creates power, but most men give that power away. The moment they feel attention from a woman, she smiles. She texts back fast. She gives you a compliment. And suddenly you're hooked thinking this is love. But attention is cheap. It costs her nothing. And too many men fall into the trap of mistaking interest for investment. Let me ask you something. Why is it that the man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't overgive, is always the man she ends up thinking about at night? It's because he's operating from a place of abundance, not desperation, because he knows one thing. Woman's attraction spikes when a man stays grounded in who he is, not who he's trying to be for her. And that's exactly where men go wrong today. You hand over your heart before she earns your respect. You offer commitment before she proves loyalty. You make her a priority before she even decides if you're an option. Today, we're flipping the entire script. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn the real psychology behind why women lose respect, why they pull away, why they test you, and why the man who stays emotionally controlled becomes the man every woman chases. Because once you understand your value, once you stop begging, stop chasing, stop overinvesting, she won't just want you. She'll fear losing you. And that is where the real power begins. Every man feels this deep down, but few dare to admit it. You've been playing a game you didn't even know you were losing. Society, media, even well-meaning friends, they've all painted a picture of love that strips you of your power, one nice guy gesture at a time. They tell you to chase, to prove, to endlessly give, as if a woman's attention is the holy grail. But what if I told you that entire narrative is a lie designed to keep you weak, chasing something that can never truly satisfy you? The truth is, while you're busy trying to earn her, she's subconsciously assessing if you're even worth her effort. And the moment you start acting like a supplicant, the game is over. Not because she's cruel, but because her deepest instincts are wired to seek strength, not desperation. Let's shatter this illusion right now. The lie of the woman as the prize, and your self-worth. For decades, we've been fed a narrative that positions the woman as the ultimate prize, the queen on the pedestal, and the man as the humble suitor, constantly striving to prove his worth. This isn't just a harmless romantic trope. It's a psychological weapon that disarms men, forcing them into a posture of subservience. Think about it. Every romantic comedy, every pop song, every dating coach who tells you to do more, be more attentive, go the extra mile. It all reinforces the idea that your value is contingent on her approval. But here's the inconvenient truth. When you place her on a pedestal, you automatically place yourself beneath her. And from that position, you can never truly lead, attract, or command respect. You become a performer, constantly seeking validation, rather than a man of purpose who knows his inherent worth. Women are not attracted to a man who begs for their attention. They are attracted to a man who commands attention. They are not drawn to a man who constantly tries to impress them. They are drawn to a man who is already impressive, living a life that she might want to join. The prize isn't an external validation you receive from a woman. The prize is you. The man you become when you focus on your mission, your discipline, your emotional mastery, and your self-respect. That man is rare. That man is valuable. And that man doesn't chase. He attracts. Consider the subtle ways this prize mentality infiltrates your daily interactions. Do you find yourself overthinking texts, crafting the perfect reply to impress her? Do you cancel your plans to accommodate hers, even if it inconveniences you? Do you find yourself constantly initiating contact, planning dates, and carrying the conversational load? These aren't just gestures of kindness. They are often subconscious bids for approval, positioning her as the gatekeeper of your happiness. The real shift happens when you internalize your own value. Imagine a king. Does a king chase? Does he beg? No. A king builds his kingdom, cultivates his wisdom, and leads with purpose. He makes himself worthy of being joined. Women, at their core, are drawn to that unwavering sense of self. They want to feel secure in your presence, not responsible for your emotional well-being. This isn't about arrogance. It's about authenticity. It's about being so clear on your own worth that you don't need external validation to feel complete. The illusion of attention. A deep dive into emotional fakes. You meet a woman, and she gives you a smile. She texts back quickly. She laughs at your jokes, maybe even gives you a compliment or two. And instantly, your brain short-circuits. This is it, you think. She's interested. This could be love. But here's the harsh reality. Attention is cheap. It costs her nothing. And for many women, it's a casual currency, a way to keep options open, to boost their ego, or simply to pass the time. It's not an investment. It's a fleeting spark. Too many men confuse this initial spark with a blazing fire of commitment. They then pour all their emotional, temporal, and even financial resources into chasing that attention, believing that if they just try harder, it will turn into something real. They become emotional beggars, constantly seeking another hit of validation. But a woman who truly values you won't make you guess. She won't play hot and cold. Her investment will be consistent, not just intense. She'll show up not just when it's convenient or exciting, but when it's hard. When you're focused on your mission, she'll actively contribute to your world, rather than just passively receiving your efforts. Learn to discern between casual interest and genuine investment. If her actions don't match her words, if her presence isn't consistent, if she's keeping you in emotional limbo, she's not investing in you. She's simply enjoying the attention you're so willing to give. Stop being an audience to her life and start being the director of your own. Let's unpack this further. Imagine you're at a busy airport. A flight attendant smiles at you, asks if you need anything, maybe even makes a small joke. Do you interpret that as romantic interest? Probably not. You understand it's part of her job, a polite interaction that costs her nothing. Yet, when a woman outside of that context offers similar, superficial attention, men often catastrophically misinterpret it. Why? Because we're starved for validation, conditioned to believe any crumb of female interest signifies a potential relationship. This misunderstanding leads to situations where men invest months, even years, into a situationship, a pseudo-relationship that provides all the emotional labor of a real one, but none of the commitment. You become her emotional support system, her confidant, her go-to for compliments and reassurance, all while she keeps her options wide open. You're the backup plan, the ego boost, the safety net, but never the main event. How do you avoid this trap? By demanding more than just attention. Look for consistent, reciprocated investment. Does she initiate contact as often as you do? Does she plan dates, or is it always your responsibility? Does she show genuine interest in your goals and challenges, or is the conversation always centered on her? Does she make sacrifices for the relationship, or is she only present when it's easy and fun? These are the real indicators of investment, not just fleeting attention. True love costs something. It requires effort, vulnerability, and a willingness to commit. If you're not getting that, you're not getting love. You're simply getting emotional fake dash outs. The price of begging. How neediness destroys attraction and power when a man starts to beg. Whether it's for affection, for clarity, or just for a response to his texts, he fundamentally compromises his masculine frame. You might think you're showing persistence or vulnerability or how much you care. But what you're actually communicating is desperation, neediness, and a profound lack of self-worth. Think about it from her perspective. Why would she respect or be attracted to a man who values her so much more than he values himself? If you are willing to abandon your self-respect, your boundaries, and your own life goals just to keep her around, what kind of man does that make you? Begging signals that you believe she has something you can't live without, something that defines your happiness. This instantly shifts all power to her. She then has no incentive to earn your respect, to treat you with consistency, or to commit. She knows you'll always be there, clinging to crumbs of attention, regardless of her behavior. This dynamic breeds contempt, not attraction. It reduces you from a leader to a follower, from a man she admires to a man she tolerates. Your worth existed before she came into your life, and it will exist if she leaves. Never allow anyone to dictate your emotional state or your self-esteem. When you stop begging, when you regain your emotional composure and walk away from anything that diminishes you, that's when she starts to wonder why you've changed. That's when she starts to chase the man you actually are, a man of dignity and self-respect. Let's be specific about what begging looks like. It's not just explicitly asking for someone to stay. It's the constant double texting when she doesn't reply. It's repeatedly bringing up, "What are we?" conversations when she's made it clear she's not ready for commitment. It's changing your entire schedule, your friend group, or even your interests just to align with hers. It's sacrificing your core values or standards to avoid conflict or keep the peace. Every single one of these actions chip away at your perceived value and signal to her that you lack an inner foundation. Imagine a scenario. She pulls away slightly. A healthy, self-respecting man observes this, gives her space, and continues focusing on his own life. A man who begs, however, interprets this as a crisis. He sends a flurry of texts, calls, asks what's wrong, and tries to fix something that might not even be broken, simply because her temporary distance triggers his insecurity. In doing so, he confirms her subconscious fear. This man is emotionally dependent on me. If I pull away, he crumbles. This isn't attractive. It's a burden. The only way to reverse this power drain is to re-establish your boundaries and reinforce your self-worth. This means learning to be comfortable with discomfort. It means knowing that if she chooses to walk away, your world doesn't end. In fact, it might just be the beginning of a better one. Free from the emotional chains of a woman who never truly appreciated your inherent value. The shock of emotional control. Becoming unshakable. Modern society has often confused emotional expression with emotional mastery. We're told to express our feelings constantly, without recognizing that unchecked emotions can lead to chaos, insecurity, and ultimately, a loss of power. A man who is easily swayed by his emotions, who spirals over an unread text, rages at minor disagreements, or constantly seeks reassurance, is not a man women trust to lead. Women are instinctively drawn to a man who is a rock, a steady anchor in the storm of life. They crave a man who can feel deeply without falling apart, who can navigate conflict with calm resolve, and who can maintain his frame even when she's testing his limits. That is true emotional control, not the suppression of feelings, but the mastery of them. The ability to pause, process, and respond with intention, rather than react impulsively out of fear or insecurity. When you remain calm in the face of her emotional fluctuations. When you stand firm on your boundaries without needing to argue. When you show her that your peace is non-negotiable, You become incredibly attractive. You become rare. Because most men today are too easily controlled by external circumstances and the moods of others. They mirror her emotions, becoming just as reactive, and thereby surrendering their power. Develop your inner world. Cultivate self-awareness. Build a life so rich with purpose and discipline that minor emotional turbulences don't derail you. Because when you are unshakable, you become a beacon of strength that women, and indeed everyone, are drawn to. You don't just feel powerful. You become the embodiment of it. Let's illustrate the profound impact of emotional control. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, your girlfriend is upset about something trivial, perhaps a misunderstanding with a friend. She comes to you, agitated and emotional. If you immediately mirror her agitation, become defensive, or try to fix it with frantic energy, you add to the chaos. You become another source of instability. This triggers her subconscious alarm bells. Can this man handle real stress if he can't even handle this? Now, consider the second scenario. She comes to you upset, but you remain calm. You listen actively, acknowledge her feelings without judgment, and offer a steady, reassuring presence. You don't get swept away by her emotions. Instead, you provide a grounded space for her to process them. This is attractive. This is leadership. She experiences you as a source of stability, a safe harbor, a man who can weather the storm without capsizing. This ability to regulate your own emotional state, even in the face of external pressure, is a magnetic force. It signals maturity, strength, and unwavering confidence. This isn't about being cold or unresponsive. It's about being anchored. It's about cultivating an internal locus of control, where your sense of self and your emotional well-being are not dictated by external events or other people's moods. This comes from deep self-work, understanding your triggers, practicing mindfulness, building a strong foundation of purpose and values that transcends fleeting emotional whims. The more you work on yourself, the less susceptible you become to emotional hijackings, and the more attractive you become to everyone around you. The test for leadership. Decoding her challenges. Many men mistakenly view a woman's challenges as personal attacks or signs of disrespect. When she pulls back, questions your decisions, becomes moody, or even subtly flirts with others, men often panic. They react with insecurity, chasing harder, or trying to fix the situation by pleasing her. But often, she's not trying to hurt you. She's subconsciously testing your leadership. Women are wired to seek a strong, stable presence. They need to know that if they commit their trust and vulnerability to you, you won't crumble under pressure. They test your boundaries to see if they're real. They challenge your opinions to gauge your conviction. They pull back to see if you'll chase desperately, or if you'll maintain your frame. Knowing your worth. When you react emotionally to her tests, you fail. You show her you can be easily manipulated, that your leadership is contingent on her approval. You prove that you follow her moods, rather than leading with your own clarity and purpose. And when that happens, attraction diminishes. Because her instinct tells her, this man isn't strong enough to hold space for both of us. Instead of viewing her tests as an inconvenience, see them as an opportunity to demonstrate your strength. Respond with calm confidence. Reinforce your boundaries with grace and conviction. Show her that your values are non-negotiable. When you pass these tests, she stops questioning and starts trusting. She begins to relax into your leadership, knowing that you are a man who can protect her peace, not just her body.